my grandfather would call it, the YouTube. You
The
know.
YouTube.
All right, we're back on, and
I move that
is
we
there-
adjourn.
thank you, Alderman Lysick. Is there a second?
Second, Keen.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, Administration and Finance is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, calling Public Works to order tonight. I see all 5 members are present. I don't think any of you went home because you're all at home. Item 17 is an ordinance authorizing city employees to perform construction work without public bidding. And I will, I believe, turn that over to Cale Decker, the city attorney, if you want to explain this, Cale.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is currently an ordinance on the books that authorizes city employees to perform public construction, but there are some limitations on it on value and the type of work that can be performed. And so in the spirit of that, the construction that's taking place on the lobby, this will be a good opportunity to just basically clear those obstructions out of the way. Let the council decide when city employees should perform work, as opposed to putting these kind of arbitrary restrictions on it. So what it would effectively do is it would give more opportunities for the Public Works Committee to have public construction done by city employees at a lower rate rather than having to bid things out.
Move to approve, Ranky.
Second,
Alderman
Stefanski.
Vitale.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second? And I heard one, but I didn't catch who did it.
And Stefanski.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Now we move to item 18, resolution authorizing the city engineer to amend an existing professional service contract with KL Engineering Incorporated for engineering consulting services related to the conversion of old series street lighting circuits to new parallel circuits with LED lighting for an amount not to exceed $75,000. And I see Pete Daniels is on the screen, and I will have him discuss this. Go ahead, Pete, please.
Okay, yeah, this is just to, KL Engineering is the one who designed the street lighting. We're doing 4 circuits. This would be to have them do inspection. They're really not going to be there every day. They're going to be there once or twice a week. But this is going to go on for about 4 months over the summer. We don't have anyone with that expertise. Really, it's actually unethical and illegal for civil engineers to do electrical engineering. So these guys have that expertise. So that's why I'm proposing that we hire them.
Okay, thank you, Pete. Is there a motion to approve this
Move
resolution? Item-
approval, Vitale.
Thank you,
Chairman
Alderman
Rowe?
Vitale. And the second was?
I didn't second. Chairman Rowe, before we continue that vote, we didn't call for discussion on the prior before vote.
Well, let's just jump back there.
Thank you.
Any discussion on item 17?
I do have something to note.
My apologies. I got to
that-
read that Robert's Rules of Order, that book that Gail was talking about.
That's
earlier.
okay. We're clipping along, so that's okay. But going back to that authorization, I'm in support of it, but I just wanted to note, considering I just had our orientation with Public Works in an already stressed department, and considering the constraints we have, will this construction work impact city services in other directions, since we're doing that remodeling with the city? That would be my only concern with that. I do
And I-
support it, but I just want to note that.
And I see Dave Webking's microphone came off, so go ahead, Dave, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Currently, at this time, those services are being contracted out in order to do this type of work that's looking at the City Hall lobby. So the individual that we discussed and is currently coordinating the project with the City Hall lobby will be retiring June 1st. He's a very valuable individual. I think everybody's aware of this. Good employee. So at this time, sadly, we did have to contract the work out.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Attorney Decker.
I should say that the project in City Hall lobby was an opportunity for me to review this ordinance, even though it doesn't apply to this particular situation. And I reviewed it and realized there were some requirements. So in the future, in order to have city employees do the work, the Public Works Committee would have to approve that work and have to be requested by Department of Public Works, and they have to make employees available. So it doesn't impose the duty on city employees to do that work. It gives them the option to, where they may not have given the type of work or the value of the work before. This just gives it a more flexibility for Public Works Committee if employees are available.
So this is for future projects.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We'll move on to item 19 on tonight's agenda. It's the resolution authorizing and directing the city engineer to amend the maintenance agreement with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to include furnishing and installing and maintaining an historic plaque to commemorate May Eliza Wright Sewell or Sewell, I'm not sure, on the existing retaining wall located on West Greenfield Avenue, which is State Highway 59, between I-894 northbound off-ramp and South 98th Street. And I believe, Pete, would you like to discuss that further?
Sure.
Mr. Chair, if I could, sorry, I just want to make sure, was there a vote on number 18?
Yes, wasn't there?
I believe
No, we
there's a
didn't finish the
motion.
vote.
Oh, that's right. I was
Oh, I made
interrupted by
the
that whole
motion and,
discussion thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I interrupted that.
My God. Okay, well, we've had a motion, I believe,
Second,
to,
Grisham.
okay, to accept, and second by Grisham. Okay, is there any discussion?
This
Hearing
is
none.
on number 18.
Number 18, yes, because we already passed number 17. Okay, so with no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Now, on to 19. Pete, would you like to talk about that plaque?
Sure. What little I know. The Historical Society approached us. They found this plaque. It's not, they're not spending any money on the plaque. They found this plaque in the attic at the Historical Society. And it occurred to them, since the 100th anniversary of women's right to vote is this summer, that was a keen, important connection. So they asked if they could mount it somewhere. They thought that putting it on that wall right by the off-ramp there, where we already have the WA that we installed there, would be a good idea. So we had to approach WSDOT because we have an agreement with them. So that's really what you're approving, is an agreement with WSDOT to let us put the plaque on the wall. There's no cost for the actual plaque. I guess DPW would have to install it, but I did a little reading on May Wright Sewell. She was born in 1844 on a farm right at that exact spot. She was on several of the suffragette committees, appointed by President McKinley to be a representative to the International Committee of Women. So you can read all about her. She was very important working with Susan B. Anthony and getting the women's right to vote. So seemed like a good connection with West Dallas.
Well, we better get,
Mr. Chair?
go ahead, Alderman, whoever. I didn't see who it was. I'm sorry.
I think there's a tie here.
Suzette, go ahead.
I was just going to make a motion to adopt this resolution.
Second, Alderman Vitale.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr.
Go
Chair,
ahead, Alderman Haas.
I would like to point out that this is quite clearly a plot by former Alderman Michael May to get his name on a plaque. Thank you.
Didn't he get a nameplate?
And my comment would be, I hope they get it done before the DNC comes to
Mr.
town.
Chair,
The limited
Chair,
DNC.
Frankie?
Yes. Go ahead.
I have no idea how big or how large this plaque is. If it's just a little plaque, nobody's going to see it.
I
However,
believe it's
I
the
like-
size of a dinner plate.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. I approve of that idea. However, is this plaque weatherproof?
So I get the feeling that there used to maybe be a plaque there that got taken down when the freeway came in the 60s, perhaps. And now it was put away in the Historical Society's attic, and now they're bringing it back out. So I presume it used to be outside, and now it'll be returning to be outside. I don't have those types of details, I guess, but I'm sure it'll be weather resistant.
Well, if nothing else, we'll please Michael May.
Yes, Yes.
Thank you.
yes, it's all about me. Okay, is there a motion to approve item 19 on tonight's agenda?
Move to approve, Reinke.
Okay,
Second.
second by Vitale. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, and that motion carries. Move to-
Mr. Chair, just so the record would reflect, there was a pending motion, and so that second motion actually was out of order, so the vote actually was in the first motion. So if the clerk could just reflect that in the minutes, please.
That was number 19, correct?
Correct. There was a pending motion during that discussion, and so the second motion was out of order. So it's fine. Everything's good. It just the minutes can reflect the original motion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, number 20, resolution amending the City of West Allis Policies and Procedures Manual Policy number 2823 in quotes, pedlets, to amend the restriction on pedlets only being allowed along West Greenfield Avenue from South 70th to South 76. And I will turn it over to Pete Daniels to discuss this further, the pedlet issue. Go ahead, Pete, please.
Yeah, when we initially adopted this, I don't remember when, but a few years ago, I guess we limited it to just the downtown bid district. I guess with the interest in maybe dining outside more to make people comfortable dining in restaurants again. We've been approached, Johnny Hammers at 63rd and Lincoln, and I guess the State Fair Inn, we discussed it. So there could be other restaurants that would like to have outdoor dining. So I guess there's no reason to have it so restrictive to the bid district. The way the policy is written, I would be able to make the final decision that it's on an appropriate street. I guess I wouldn't put one on Lincoln Avenue, but I would put one on 63rd Street by Johnny Hammers. I wouldn't put one on, I would choose 81st Street in front of State Fair Inn. So I guess I would choose the lower volume streets, but that's still in the policy. So I don't see any reason why we have to restrict it to just the bid district, especially if a lot of restaurants are going to want to have outside dining to keep people socially distant and continue to have enough people to make a living. So,
Mr. Chair.
Alderman Grisham.
I have a question regarding our pedlets. I do support this. I think it's a great dining opportunity. And obviously we have pretty strict rules as to the avenue as to how they're placed with pedestrian safety in mind. However, I was curious to know, and forgive me for my ignorance on this, do we have a particular fee that's involved with businesses that would like pedlets, or is that something we would look toward as this would expand?
Well, they do have to get a grant of privilege, so it's a mere $25. They have to get insurance to insure the pedlet. They have to build the pedlet, so I guess I don't know how much the wood and all of the construction would be, but and then there are other permits and licenses. If they're going to serve alcohol, they have to get the extension of premise. So there's a lot of other licenses and permit fees for that. But we don't charge per se for the pedlet itself.
Okay. Well, I think you encompass that by saying that the extended liquor permits and things like that I might not have been apprised of. As I said, excuse my newness here. But now the pedlets are obviously all rendered to a particular size, or will that change based on the establishment per se?
Well, yeah, they can, I guess, design them however big they want them. And unlike Milwaukee, we're not, that's why we came up with this, coined this phrase. I don't know who coined it. I don't know if it was Alderman May or somebody, but in Milwaukee, they're actually dining on the parklet. They call them a parklet. we came up with the idea on Greenfield to call it a pedlet because we wanted the people to be dining on the sidewalk and then just use the pedlet as a way to get around. The pedlet on Greenfield did get hit, I believe, by a truck during the middle of the night.
Bus, I believe, wasn't it? At Urban Joe?
Right, at Urban Joe's.
Mhm.
It was late in the evening, nobody was around. So I mean, there is a little bit of a risk. We do have, they're supposed to have like a flower pot or something to, you know, absorb the impact. But to not, you know, not have people actually dining out in the street, certainly on a busy street, maybe we could relax that on a, you know, a place on a side street like at Johnny Hammer's or something on 63rd. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But, so we can look at each one on a case-by-case basis, but yeah, they can be different sizes. We don't want them to stick out into the travel lane. So I guess each one would have to, I'd have to look at how big it could be to accommodate the size, the area where the street where it's going to be placed.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, Ranky,
Go ahead, Alderman Ranky.
I really approve of this. However, I'm thinking of the different malls along Highway 100. Would they have to follow the same rules of the pedlet? Considering it's a different scenario
We will not have any,
regarding the sidewalks.
we will not have any pedlets on Highway 100, I guarantee you.
In the different malls, don't you think that these owners will want them though?
Well, they could do something.
There's several restaurants I can think of that would want a pedlet.
They could put it in their parking lot. I guess I wouldn't have, we don't have jurisdiction in their parking lot. I mean, I guess except for the extension of premises and dining outside. The pedlet's just in a public right of way. So no, we're not gonna put any pedlets on Highway 100 and WisDOT wouldn't let us anyway. It's way too fast, way too much traffic. But if they wanted to put some sort of a deck in their parking lot, I guess that doesn't apply to this because it's not in the right of way. They'd have to get the other liquor permits and maybe go to the plan commission or something, but that wouldn't really apply to this situation. So they could build a deck in their parking lot, I suppose, if they wanted some outdoor dining. They might lose a few of their own parking spots, but that's not right of way. So, you know, we're certainly not going to put any pedlets on Highway 100 or any busy road.
No, these wouldn't be in the road, Pete. They would be on the sidewalks in front of the restaurants.
I can't picture any, I guess we'd have to look at a case by case. I can't picture any places on Highway 100 where.
In the malls? Right.
I don't know.
Fujiyama, I'm thinking of possibly Shanghai Thai. They have a
BW3.
sidewalk in front. Pardon me?
Well, if they
Sorry,
wanna-
Mr. Chair, I was gonna say BW3s as well.
Yeah, if they want to build a deck that kind of sticks out into their own parking lot, I mean,
Yeah.
that's their problem. They can, I guess they'd have to go to plan commission and get the liquor license, extension of premise, outdoor dining. But that wouldn't apply to this. I mean, they can alter their parking lot and they could put a concrete pad there if they wanted to. That's their private property. They wouldn't need to have one of these wooden decks necessarily. So I think that's a whole different issue. They already have the permission to build a deck on their own property. This is for putting a deck on our property. So I wouldn't think that anyone on Highway 100 would be putting anything on our property.
Mr. Chair, another question for you, Peter, is as if we adopt this, would it make sense to maybe put a guidance together as to sizes? The kind of, I know you said this could take off and a lot of,
Yeah.
businesses may need additional direction that maybe it would be beneficial to put something together.
There's a 6 or 7 page policy. I don't know. I guess I don't remember offhand if it says sizes, but I can look at that.
Okay.
that
Mr. Chair,
might be
if I
something-
may.
Yeah, Steve, do you know?
Yeah, this is Steve. I actually have the policy in front of me. So on page 2, section 6, there's the pedlet design guidelines currently within the policy, and it does indicate that it should not, the pedlet should not extend beyond the width of the tenant's frontage. So it limits it pretty much to the property and not beyond.
Steve,
Thank you.
Steve Scher,
Yes, Alderman Rowe.
this is Road. Say, didn't Buffalo Wings come before us about 3 or 4 years ago, and it just never materialized their outdoor
Well, they did.
parklet, I guess that would be.
Yeah, they did put one in, and it's in
Oh,
the.
they did.
It's on private property though, so within the.
Right.
They
right.
actually took up some of the parking lot and modified one of the drive aisles to expand a
Okay.
walkway in front of the property for outdoor patio area.
Okay, thank you. I don't get out there much now that Radio Shack is gone, so. Okay. Item, motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Item 21 is a discussion item to review the possibility of providing recycling service on a weekly basis. I believe this was brought to us by Alderman Stefanski. Is there anything you would like to say right now before I turn it over to Dave Webking in Public Works?
This was just from a couple of residents complaining that they were filling up their recycling bins too much now because they're home all the time. And they wanted to know about getting either another recycling bin provided by the city, or why can't we go to weekly pickup? So I asked Dave to put it together so we could get it out for public knowledge of what the kind of cost it would be and impact taxpayers on.
Okay. Well, it's a lot of cost, but we'll let Dave Webking tell us that.
So very quickly, Mr. Chair, I did send a communication to the Public Works Committee members. And in order to replace and increase the service for the recycling collection from biweekly to weekly, we are looking at 5 additional employees at approximately a salary of $220,000, 2 additional recycling packers at roughly $280,000, and some operational costs for fuel maintenance and repairs of these packers throughout the years of approximately $100,000, and a roughly estimate is about $900,000. Again, we are collecting bi-weekly, so we have as a total for the city about 20,000 living units roughly. Each week, we do collect 20,000 living units for refuse, but we take half the city to collect recycling, which is around 10,000. So in order to reciprocate that and make up the difference, we would have to have more staff and more equipment in order to do so. Versus if you did have those patrons that wanted additional recycling containers, it is a $45 fee that they would have to pay. So a little bit of a difference.
Mr. Chair,
So,
I
okay,
Go
just-
ahead, Alderman Ranky.
Alderman Road, I'll be next.
it was actually Grisham.
My
Tracy,
apologies.
that's okay. Tracy, did you ask them if they'd invest in a can crusher?
That was discussed.
Just had to bring
That's
that
a
up.
good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. I like that.
Okay,
Oh.
Mr. Chair.
someone else had discussion? Go ahead.
Yes. The fact that is, we're not talking about, this is the first time that I hear that, because our city recycling containers, in size, they're 90 gallon, I believe. So to me, in percentage, maybe if it's 1% of the citizen, like Alderman Stacy Stefanski addressed, we cannot really changing for the entirety of the city based on 2 people, because maybe they have a beer cans or like Suzette said, I don't think to me that's unrealistic, really. I mean,
Okay, well,
but that's neighbors complain. That's our job to bring forward, But
okay.
in my opinion, I like to table that, and not really going any farther with that. Really, to me, it's a very costly. And
Deny
so to me, I like to place on file.
Second.
Chair, this is Alderman Stefanski.
it.
Go ahead, Alderman.
Hey, Vince, one of these days you're gonna get my name right.
I know.
Um,
Probably not.
this was the
Probably
only
not.
purpose of
Probably not.
The only purpose
This-
of this was for discussion, just so the people watching could get an idea of what the cost impact it was. So there's really nothing to vote for or anything. It was just a discussion to make people aware of it.
Yes, that's good, Trace. I think that's.
Mr. Chair, Reinke,
Go ahead, Alderman Ranky.
Mr. Chair, I commend the alderman for bringing it to us for discussion. It needs to be said that a lot of people don't realize the expense, and I can't justify this expense at this time.
I
Better
agree.
they get a can, a can crusher. Thank you.
I like that. I like that.
Thank you, Alderman Ranky. Okay. Well, we're going to place on file. Do we have to do a motion on that for to place on file?
As a
I did a
discussion item,
motion
no, you
already.
no, you do not.
Okay, we're placing it on file. Thank you. Okay, item 22 from the public hearings earlier tonight. Number 22 is a resolution to confirm and adopt the report of the city engineer containing the schedule of proposed assessments for improvements of the east-west alley between Buchanan Place to South 69th, West Beloit Road to West Arthur Avenue, and the east-west alley between South 65th to South 66th, West Arthur Avenue to West Harrison Avenue by removal and reconstruction of the concrete alley pavement, storm sewer, utility adjustments, and storm underdrain.
So move.
Second.
Second.
There's a motion to approve and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Now we jump down to item 23. It is the final resolution authorizing public improvement by removal and reconstruction of the concrete alley pavement, storm sewer, utility adjustments, and storm underdrain in the east-west alley between South Buchanan Place and South 69th and West Beloit Road to Arthur Avenue, and the east-west alley between South 65th to South 66th, West Arthur to West Harrison Avenue, and levying special assessments against benefited properties.
So
So
move.
moved.
Stefanski.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I
Seeing
move
none,
to
all in
adjourn.
favor, say.
Oh,
Who's that?
aye. I'm already adjourning. I'm sorry.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
okay. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. That is it for Public Works. Thank you.
Adjourned.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Safety and Development Committee will come to order. All members are present. First item on the agenda is item 24. This is a resolution approving a certified survey map to combine two properties into one lot of record located at 1606, 1650 South 84th Street and the 8300 block West Lapham Street, submitted by Peter Agnos, property owner, tax keys 452-0431-001 and 452-9999-010.
Move approval, Weigel.
Second, Tenorio.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item 25 on your agenda, this is a resolution relative to determination of application for a special use permit for Brainiacs Academy 2 LLC, a proposed education facility to be located at 5806 West National Avenue. This is the item we had the hearing on this evening. Is there any discussion?
I move approval. Haas.
Second, Tenorio.
It's been moved and seconded for approval. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh,
I had a quick, this is Alderperson Keen. So I know that the owner, they were going to see if they were exempt with both the owner, if they meet the requirements per the chapter 70. They were going to have a discussion with the owner from what Jason Williams had put. So is this approving it whether or not they are going to be paying taxes or not, or?
I actually, Alderperson Keen, I don't think we can use whether they pay taxes or not as a reason for denying a special use. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney Decker.
The standards for the special use would not include tax exemption or taxable nature. It's more about the use itself. And so the factor should be, is this a proper location for this type of activity? And if so, then you can approve the special use. And if not, then just state the reasons as to why, and then you can vote it opposed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Alderperson Haas.
Yeah, and the reason for my questioning about the taxing, yeah, didn't really go to the special use and whether we'd approve or deny it is more of my curiosity and an additional reason why it might be a good thing that we have a change in use there. That's all.
Any further discussion? On the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That's all for safety and development. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn, Weigel.
Second.
Seconded by Keen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Your turn, Rosalie.
Yep.
Yes, but I was waiting for the mayor to note that the License and Health Committee had not.
I can
no
do that,
business.
Alderperson Ranky. We're giving Alderman
Thank
Vitale
you.
the night off. You're up.
Yeah, it's okay. Take over for me, Rosalie. It's okay. I'll give you the opportunity because I had too much work tonight already, you know?
It's only 9 o'clock.
All right, Alderman Vitale. I call the advisory committee to order. Let the minutes reflect all members are present. First on the agenda is number 26. Ordinance to authorize city clerk to reduce or increase number of election officials at polling places.
Move for
I guess
approval.
I'll call on Ms. Gray to expand on this a bit.
I can, Mr. Chair, if you'd like.
Okay,
Basically, there are state laws that allow the city to reduce the number of election officials at polling places depending on need. The number can go as low as 3. It has to be an odd number, so it's either 3, 5, or the default 7. And then also at the same time, this authorizes the city clerk to increase the number of election officials if the demand is there. And again, increasing it to an odd number, whether it's 11, 13, or so on.
thank you, Alternate Key. So what is the,
Already.
Second.
it's been moved and second. Any more discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn. Alderman.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. We will call the Common Council back to order, and I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Vitale,
Aye.
Weigel,
Here.
Grisham,
Here.
Haas,
Here.
Keen,
Here.
Lysick,
Here.
Reinke,
Here.
Rote,
Here.
Stefanski,
Here.
Tenorio,
Here.
10 present.
We have a quorum. We will begin with the Administration and Finance Committee. I will ask our clerk to read out the report and then turn things over to the chair.
Item number 7 was recommended to be placed on file by the Administration and Finance Committee and Public Works Committee. Items 8 was recommended for approval. Item 9 was recommended to be held. And then items 10 and 11 were recommended for approval. Item 12 was recommended to be placed on file. 13 consensus was given. 14 placed on file. 15 was approved. And 16 consensus was given to the attorney. I should note that item number 8 was requested to be called out separately.
Thank you. We'll turn things over to the chairman, Alderman Haas.
Thank you, Mayor Devine. I move for approval of the committee report minus item 8.
Second.
Thank you. We no longer need
Oh,
seconds.
that's right.
Yeah, it's all right. I almost took it. On item 7 and 9 through 16, is there any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Vitale,
Aye.
Weigel,
Aye.
Grisham,
Aye.
Haas,
Aye.
Keen. Sorry, I didn't hear Keen.
Aye.
Say thank you. Lysick,
Aye.
Ranky,
Aye.
Rote,
Aye.
Stefanski,
Aye.
Tenorio,
Aye.
10-0.
Motion carries.
And Mayor Devine, I move approval of item 8.
Thank
Second.
you. Any discussion on
Oh,
item
sorry,
8?
we don't need that.
It's hard after all these years.
It sure is.
Any discussion on item 8? Okay, no discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Vitale,
Aye.
Weigel,
Aye.
Grisham,
Aye.
Haas,
Aye.
Keen,
Aye.
Lysick,
Aye.
Ranky,
Aye.
Rote,
Aye.
Stefanski,
No.
Tenorio.
Aye.
9 in favor, 1 opposed.
Motion carries. Now we will move on to the Public Works Committee. I will ask the clerk to read out that report and then turn things over to the chair, Alderman Rowe.
Public Works Committee recommended approval of items 17 through 20 and 22 and 23, and recommended placing on file item number 21.
I move for approval in accordance of the committee report.
Thank you, Alderman Rowe. Is there any discussion on the Public Works Committee report? I will assume there is none, so I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Vitale,
Aye.
Weigel,
Aye.
Grisham,
Aye.
Haas,
Aye.
Keen,
Aye.
Lysick,
Aye.
Ranky,
Aye.
Rote,
Aye.
Stefanski,
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. Next up, we will go to the Safety and Development Committee, Alderman Lysick, or I'm sorry, see, there I go. Madam Clerk, and then Alderman Lysick.
The Safety and Development Committee recommended approval of items 23 and 24.
I move for adoption of the committee report.
We have a motion to approve the Safety and Development Committee. Is there any discussion?
We should be
Hearing none.
approving 24 and
24
25.
and 25.
Right.
Not 23. That was already approved by the,
Oh, you did say
Public
23, 24.
I'm sorry, 24 and
catch.
25.
Any questions on items 24 or 25? Okay, hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Vitale,
Aye.
Weigel,
Aye.
Grisham,
Aye.
Haas,
Aye.
Keen,
Aye.
Lysick,
Aye.
Ranky,
aye.
Rote,
Aye.
Stefanski,
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries. As we mentioned earlier, we gave Alderman Vitale and the License and Health Committee the night off tonight.
Mayor, because that's-
It's not
they-
not
they
gonna happen again, so don't get used to it. And we will now go to the advisory committee, which is chaired by Alderperson Ranky. I will ask the clerk to read out that report.
The advisory committee recommended approval of item number 26.
Mayor Devine, I move to approve the committee report.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Is there any discussion on item 26? Seeing none, I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Vitale,
Aye.
Weigel,
Aye.
Grisham,
Aye.
Haas,
Aye.
Keen,
Aye.
Lysick,
Aye.
Ranky,
Aye.
Rote,
Aye.
Stefanski,
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Item carries.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we adjourn until our next regularly scheduled meeting, which hopefully will be in real life, June 2nd, Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by, I believe, Alderman Vitale. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to adjourning? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Mayor.
you.
Hey, everyone.